Alright, Crimson Desert is just truly one of the best games I think I've ever played in a while, and in today's video, I want to review the game and talk about my honest thoughts about it and what I loved about it, what I absolutely hated about it, because at the making of this video, I've recently completed Crimson Desert. I've 100% of the story, and yeah, it's been an awesome journey to do that. I think I've about like 80 hours, 70 hours, something like that, and yeah, it's been great. But I definitely just want to talk about my review of the game and just tell my honest thoughts. So yeah, let's get in it. But before that, I hope you guys can click that like and subscribe button. Really, really appreciate it. It means the world to me. So now let's get into the video. Okay, Crimson Desert is truly feels like a next generational game and a next gen game as well. Like the amount of things you can do in this game is just ridiculous, and like the physics and just everything surrounding that stuff is just insane, and it feels awesome, right? It truly does. But let's talk about what I loved about the game. I loved the game for what it is, right? It's an open sandbox game basically saying, okay, yeah, we'll drop you in this game, go have fun. That's it. Like that's legit it. Like they don't tell you anything else. And that's why I love the game, and I know for a lot of people it sucks because yeah, there's some really difficult stuff in this game trying to figure out what like a puzzle or trying to get to this area or whatever it is. Like this game just does not hold your hand, and for some people it sucks. People do not like that. And yeah, I'm sorry, but for me it's amazing. That's why I love the game, right? Um, but yeah, that's just one of the reasons I love the game. And the graphics itself is just amazing, right? It's truly a very good looking game as well. And I mean, yeah, I just love Crimson Desert for what it's trying to be, right? Um, the the characters aren't. Cliff is really cool. I like his whole idea, but I think Damien and Unka, if I believe I pronounced those right, that's a whole other. We'll get into the negatives later, but I'll save that for later. But yeah, Cliff's cool dude. Really like his whole personality, kind of like a stoic dude. Doesn't really care, like just like only he only gives those one-liners and being like, yes, and that's it. Like he won't say anything else. It's really cool. I like some of that stuff, but yeah, I just really like the world itself. The whole environments and stuff like that. Like when you go to a city, right, and you just explore, it's just really cool. I love that. And there's after completing the game, right, there's still so much I don't know, right? Like I still haven't been to a bunch of areas, but yeah, I think one of my favorite things about the game is definitely the map, like just the whole map of the game and just the environments and what they're able to do with those environments and make them really cool. And yeah, I love those environments, man. They're so cool. And yeah, it's awesome. Another thing I love super much is the mounts. You can have like a couple different mounts, like a dragon, polar bear. You can even have a hot air balloon. It's crazy. I don't even think I've gotten them all, but yeah, it's just like some of that stuff. It's so cool. Like you could just get on different stuff. It really makes the game feel way more like I don't know, and like I feel more in touch with it. It's just like it just I don't know. It's really fun to do that kind of stuff and just stumble on things, I guess, right? And that like especially that like just stumbling on things is just insane. Like I think I'll pull up the clip of it. It's just like I remember like I was going in this area and all of a sudden I stumbled upon this like giant lizard guy, and he's like electric, like a electricity, a lizard, whatever you call it. Like he's like lightning powers, and just like it would just look badass. Like I'll pop the clip up, but yeah, like that stuff. Like you just like that's a side quest, sure, but like you can just stumble upon it too. Like I didn't even know it was a side quest because you can look at it on the menus and stuff. I didn't even know that was a side quest, so I just stumbled upon it and be like, oh. And now it kind of starts the mission once you get close enough, right? And it's like, okay, I want to do these missions now. And so it just completely drags you away from what you're trying to do. Like, I can't tell you how many times that's happened for me. It really reminds me of Ghost of Tsushima a lot, just because I've played Ghost of Tsushima quite a bit. One of my favorite games of all time. And like I remember just trying to go to the main objective, and then this little yellow golden bird, it just like flies in the air, and now you got to go the complete opposite way to follow it to get the point of interest or whatever it is. And I love it. It's awesome. I love those type of games that really just have so much that you can't really do the main story. It's really really fun, and that's why I got sucked into it so much. It's really really amazing, and I think Crimson Desert nailed it out of the or Pearl Abyss nailed it out of the park with that one. Yeah, it feels really really good doing all those side objectives and sort of the main missions. I'll get into the main missions later because I have some strong opinions about that. But yeah, like I said, the whole world map, like the designs of the world and the characters and just everything they did, they nailed it out of the park with that. I truly truly think they did. That's definitely one of my favorite parts of the game, just exploring and finding these new environments and castles or whatever it is, right? And yeah, it's just it's truly amazing. Like Pearl Abyss, like I said, nailed it out of the park with that. But now I want to talk about the main story. This is a big one for me because I do have many complaints about the main story, right? So let's just get into it. So basically, the intro of the game for some people is very long and boring. For me, it was fine. Like I didn't mind it being long because I knew like, oh, usually if it's a long introduction, it's gonna start going crazy later. And not really, but we'll get into that more in a second here. But I just want to talk about the starting of the game. The starting of the game is pretty fun actually. Like I thought it kind of started really cool because you're at this enemy camp. Like you're at not enemy camp. You're at your own camp, right? And you're kind of meeting with your allies, and you're sitting down in the cabin or whatever. And then all of a sudden, you guys get like ambushed. It just starts right off, and it's kind of I kind of like that. Like it just goes right. It's just snappy and goes right, and I like that. And it didn't take too long to get going, and it really puts you in the game pretty quickly, which is fun. At least I found it like that, right? Because basically you guys get ambushed and the black bears, and you just start throwing hands with everybody, and yeah, and then you eventually get killed, and then all of a sudden like you discover these new the abyss and like all these like godlike powers or whatever that is, like the the hierarchy of the world or stuff like that. That's where it gets confusing, right? Like the abyss stuff, because maybe it's in the lore and maybe I did not read enough, but like holy crap, I did not feel like one time throughout the entire story where I felt like, oh, I get this now. Oh, I see. Like I understand. Like that's for me. Other people could understand it. I don't know why I didn't understand it, but like, and I really do like story games. Story games are everything to me. They truly are, and I try to really lock in and focus when I'm listening to them, right? And it just never made sense to me. Like, I did not understand at all. Like, it just never really made sense. Um, Obviously, there's definitely a lot of, times where it did make sense. Oh, for example, there's this one mission where, oh, the black bears are trying to raid this castle. We have to go and stop them. So prepare for battle and get ready. Like that was a big mission too. There's a siege battle, and that was awesome. That was like one of my favorite missions. That siege battle. I had a lot of fun doing that mission, man. It was awesome. It was like this big area surrounding the castle, like the castle itself, but all the way on these big farm fields, and it was just filled with enemies and allies, and it was just a straight out war. I'll play the clips, but it was awesome. I had a blast doing that mission. Yeah, and for me, those were the kind of the best missions, but I don't know, like just kind of after that, I mean, that was pretty early on in the game, I think a little bit. Like after that, it just like I didn't know what I was doing. Like it just never really made sense for me, and that's fine. Like Crimson Desert's not really trying to be a story game at all, right? But yeah, it's it's what it is, right? You got to understand, like, they're not trying to push this as a story game anyway, right? Because for me, when I got done with the story and I started doing stuff like upgrading my camp, exploring just the world, exploring these crazy, crazy boss fights you can just find, I had a blast. Truly. Like, I started having so much fun with this game, and I really got sucked into it. It's just like, it was crazy how much I got into this game after I completed the story. And yeah, like, it's just insane because the story really wasn't doing it for me. Like, I did not have a fun time doing the story. Felt really slow a lot of times. The pacing was just not right. Um, it just never made sense for me, as like I said. And I think the first half of it was pretty good. Like I said, the introduction, like the first 10 hours were pretty slower, which was fine because you're getting into the game or whatever it is, right? But I thought it was fine. I didn't have any problems with the intro, like the opening of the game. But I had problems with the late game. It was kind of opposite for me because late game was horrible. I'm gonna play all the clips now, like as you can see, but like the like final kind of boss fights you had to do. So the first ones that sucked were on these. So you're in this complete other region, the right side. I forget what it's called, but you're now in this like robot kind of land, right? With all these mechs and like just robots itself, and they take over these castles and everything, and you gotta fight them. First off, fighting those robots are not fun. They're really overpowered, so make sure you go and level up fighting them, whatever. But the boss fights they had you do when you on like the siege battle, or not the siege battle, just the oh, I can't say the like the just the castle itself, right? You have to go in the castle and then you fight this boss that's in the castle, right? In this, enemy territory. And holy crap, were these bosses absolutely horrible. It was terrible. Like, you had to use nature's snare or whatever, the spin ability, right? And then you had to launch the missiles back at them, and you just had to do that over and over and over again. It was just horrible, absolutely horrible, terrible boss fight. And then you had to do that like twice or three times. Absolutely horrible. That was the worst time I have had in the game. Right, those are bad, and I think I kind of pushed too far because a little bit before that, when you're getting the dragon, um, or maybe it is after, before or after, whatever it is, when you're in the desert area and you are trying to get the dragon, like doing this dragon mission, getting on the dragon was a pain in the ass. I can't tell you how many times that took me. It was awful, like absolutely awful. And then the dragon missions itself were absolutely horrible. Like, they were terrible. Like, the dragon itself works when it wants to. Sometimes it can be a little clunky, but like the missions on the dragon were absolutely terrible. Like on these, like you had to kill, like destroy these like siege weapons, these big weapons, and oh my, like hitboxes were terrible on them, and you would just get annihilated, and it wouldn't hit. It was just a mess. And then finally, I figured it out, and I got it, but it man, it was just bad. And another bad dragon mission was the okay. So this is spoilers, so major spoilers here. But it was the final boss of the game. Like, so the boss had three phases, right? One and two were just fighting him, the person itself, and the third one he turns into this like big monster, like this big just ginormous monster in the air, and you have to kill him with the dragon. Oh my goodness, this was the worst final boss I think I've ever played in a game. It was terrible. It was so bad. Like, the first two phases he had were fine. We were throwing hands. He had some really cool abilities and moves that he was doing, and he would one shot me sometimes. Really cool. But the dragon mission for the final thing was absolutely horrible. Obviously, sure they could fix it, but let me explain before. So, basically, you're flying this dragon, right? And the boss does not move. He's in one spot the entire time, right? And he's shooting these projectiles at you, right? And I'll play the clip as well so you know what I'm talking about, right? But he's shooting these projectiles at you, and you kind of have to dodge out the way, but you have to keep flying and flying until you get into the range of him so you can use your fireball attack and then build up the stamina enough. But it takes like 5 or 4 times from you going back and forth, because once you get close enough and do enough damage, he'll send you back, and then you have to go back and weave your way through all these projectiles, and you have to keep doing it and doing it and doing it until you finally stun him, which you get launched off your dragon, and then you have to fly to the center of it and force palm him, and then they'll do half damage. Like, it'll knock half his bar of health off. And then you get back on your dragon. And then you got to do it over and over and over again until you stun him. And then you got to do it. But let me tell you this. When you are getting off your dragon and trying to get to the center, if it's like an eye almost, looks like an eye, you have to fly to it and hit him with the force palm. That did not work for me. It just kept throwing me off my dragon, and then I would fall down in the abyss. Like, I couldn't even fly sometimes. I wouldn't even be able to hit my flight ability. Absolutely horrible, and I just had to keep doing it and over and over and over and over. It was rinse and repeat. It was absolutely terrible. Hopefully they can really fix that, because it was just terrible. That was like, I had a hard time getting through the end story because it was just so bad. Not because of that sequence. Obviously, that's very end stuff, and I knew it was the end mission. But like before that, with the dragon missions and stuff like that, it was bad. It was really, really bad. And some of the other final bosses, like really late game bosses, were really, really bad as well. It kind of reminds me of there's like one of the dragon mission that were just like rinse and repeat. It was horrible. Like, you weren't even fighting him. You were just using Nature's Snare and using his ability against him. That's the only thing you could do, and that was it. Absolutely terrible. Hopefully they can fix those things. And I do think Pearl Abyss can fix those things, because it's been 3 weeks now, and they've launched like either 3 or 4 patches that fixed a ton of stuff and bringing a ton of new abilities and just new things in this game, which is just absolutely amazing. Yeah, Pearl Abyss, man. And that's one thing I want to talk about, and how crazy Pearl Abyss is. Like, they are crazy. They have like a team of 1,000+ people, and like, they're used to playing on MMO terms, or MMO, terms, because MMOs, like, you have to constantly keep updating it, right? But with the story game, usually it takes like devs like a month to get a patch out, right? Which is, it sucks, but you gotta wait. But not Crimson Desert. It's like every week and a half they just got some new patch that fixes so many things, and it's awesome. That's why Pearl Abyss is really, really good, and yeah, they've been doing a great job. But yeah, all in all, the story, it was not great for me. I mean, there's some cool moments, but yeah, I didn't really love the story too much. But yeah, it was, all in all, it was like pretty decent. If I had to rate it, I'd probably give it like a 6.5 for the story. I know it's probably a little low. It's like IGN stuff. Don't flame me, please. But that's just for the story. I'm not saying for the game. The game itself, I'd probably give like a, I don't know, 8.5 out of 10. It really was truly amazing for me. And yeah, like, you can't really, like, I don't even care if I rated the story. Like, I don't even want to really, but that's what I would have to give it, because the story is like basically the beginning of the game, if you if you think about it. Like, it's like there's so many areas and stuff I haven't done even after completing the main story. Like, it's just insane, right? And it took me like 70 something hours, 60 something, to get to the story, like, to beat it, and which is crazy, um but obviously I was just doing so many other things, right? So I couldn't focus. You can't focus on the story all at once. Like, it's just, it doesn't work like that, so yeah, I don't know, it's just, the story wasn't too good. But yeah, all in all, man, Crimson Desert is truly, truly just a remarkable game. And Yeah, I truly did love it. But another thing I do want to mention, some things they could fix is just like I remember having this issue. Like the interaction stuff is a little weird at times. Like it never really like works right. Like for example, like picking up coins or something on the ground, you have to pick up each individual one. So that's a little bit much. Just one of those things. But they can fix that. I'm not too worried about it. Right? They could add some mechanic. Right? To make it easier. You know, one thing that was really funny that they recently added in a patch was so somebody found this glitch about what you could do in midair and like keep it's something with like so when you're flying in the air, right, and you're gliding and you press um L3 and R3 to slow time down or whatever, the nature stuff, whatever. And they found this glitch where you can like slash in midair with your sword and you keep flying it and you keep doing it and you keep slashing and you just go and go, go. They patched that in the recent patch, but they added ability where you can like kind of somewhat do that and you can go really fast doing it. So they added a whole new skill tree, not skill tree, but like a an ability on the skill tree just because of some glitch. Like that's awesome. Like what kind of devs will do that? Like they'll be like, "Oh, look at this cool thing somebody found on a glitch. Let's obviously take away the glitch, but let's make it into something like let's make it into ability." So they're not removing the fun of it, right? Because usually devs will just, "Oh, yep, glitch patch." Like they won't try to work around it and be like, oh yeah, since that's a glitch, let's maybe try to make something out of that glitch that's not overpowered but similar. That is awesome. I love that. Like that is the coolest thing. That really shows the kind of teamwork and just the team itself they have at Pearl Abyss, and they really don't want to take away things from people. They really want to provide and give them a great experience of a game, of a piece of entertainment, and that's exactly what Pearl Abyss is doing. I mean, if just the game itself, like just the crazy things you can do, it's basically like nobody at Pearl Abyss saying no. We're not going to put that in the game. That's not what we do. They just said yes to everything. Oh, do you want this cool flying or like rope ability where you can slingshot off of something or whatever? Yes, we want that. Oh, do you want a game where you can fly a dragon and polar bear and a blimp and a horse and a fox or whatever, coyote? Yes, we want that. Like that is just awesome. I love that. That's why I love Pearl Abyss so much. And it's gonna be crazy because when they finally release their next game, which is obviously going to be years and years away, but you can just really kind of tell what game they're going to be doing next because it's just everything. They got everything you could want to do in it. And for sure, the argument could be, oh, it's just got too much stuff in it. It never really makes any sense. Like it's just the everything game. I could see that argument, but trust me, when you play it, it's not really like that. Like I didn't really get overwhelmed with like the skills itself. I did get overwhelmed with the amount of stuff to do in the game in terms of like side quests and exploring and stuff like that. Yes, but with the skills, no. It was so fun to use and yeah. It's just a truly amazing game. Well, I hope I'm kind of wrapping up this review here. I hope this kind of gives you an idea of kind of my experience with this game. I know this was kind of a longer review or whatever. It's so hard to cover this game just because like I saw a post somebody finally platinum the game. It was like 270 hours to platinum it, which is crazy. Like I'm not even 100 hours in yet, and I try to just give my best honest thoughts about the game. And I'll kind of sum it up now. So story, not good. Like I mean, it's just okay. Like, it's all right in terms of just like story and dialogue and what you're actually doing. Yeah, not doesn't make any sense for me at least. But combat, 10 out of 10. Combat is truly next gen. Truly feels amazing. One of my favorite parts of the game. You can just do so much with the combat, and it's awesome. It truly is awesome. And the enemy variants, you're not just fighting the same enemy. You're fighting one end of the map. You're fighting just bandits and like kind of just common thieves and soldiers, and then if you go north, you're fighting these like guys who follow um, this stag lord dude, and they're all got antlers on their head, and they're kind of a little different, you know. And then you're fighting the black bears, and then you're fighting, if you go to the east side of the map, and now you're fighting just stronger soldiers a little bit, but they're all different and stronger enemies. But then if you go even more east, now you're fighting robots and like just I don't even know, like flying things in the air. And then if you go north to the desert, you're fighting like crazy bandits with guns, and like everything is like it's just crazy. It's just crazy. But yeah, combat's 10 out of 10. Exploration of the game, just the world itself, 10 out of 10. Yeah, the story was probably the only thing that really dragged me down throughout everything. But yeah, it's truly a remarkable game, and truly does feel like a next gen game. And yeah, I was it took me like 3 weeks to finally get through it. It's just insane. Yeah, truly a remarkable game. I love everything about it, and yeah, I had a blast playing it. But I think that's gonna wrap up the review here, guys. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Yeah, please hit that like and subscribe button. Really, really appreciate it. Mean everything to me. But yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.